My name is Kawisaienton McComber. I'm the assistant coach for the U13B Kahnawake Mohawks. How we doing? Well, within the game of hockey or say lacrosse, it already is kind of like a violent sport in a way. So when you see kids or players like kind of taking advantage of the rule and being like, maybe being like cheap or a little dirty behind the play, there's no contact, right? So like I try to tell my players not to engage in contact because it turns into a penalty. It could hurt kids because kids are not at this level trained to take hits, so they're not prepared for it. So you could really hurt somebody, especially like a lot of our kids are kind of bigger than most. So, I don't want that being a part of our style of play or part of our game, because we do have like a long history of being like aggressive and people are feared and afraid to play Kahnawake. Like I don't want to have that like stigma with my team. And if they're working hard in the corner, lifting sticks, stuff like that, that's fine. But the dirty stuff, I don't like it at all. Violence and bullying has like a pretty big effect on a player. Say if it happens, like you said, short term or long term. For the short term, I find like it could really drive a player down. Their self-esteem could be completely shot. They'll kind of go into their own little shell, and just not want to engage in the game no more. They don't want to try. Because all they're thinking about is being bullied. They don't want to make a mistake. Now the long term, kids ain't gonna want to come back. They ain't gonna want to play sports anymore. It's like, what's the point of going somewhere where it's supposed to be a safe environment? You're supposed to go have fun, be active, but once you start finger pointing, name calling each other, being disrespectful to one another, things ain't gonna go good. People ain't gonna have fun. You gotta have some consequences to your actions. You can't just do what you want, say what you want, treat people however which way you want to and not have any consequences. Yeah. So I think consequences does kind of keep them in line. They're not bad kids though, because we have such a small community, compared to the outside where we do see one another quite often out in the community. So you kind of want to have like a lasting impact on them. Like they might find themselves in a situation down the road where like, oh, hey, I remember what Coach Kawi said about, this situation. Okay, I should handle it this way. And hey, maybe he was right, or hey, maybe he had it wrong. I'm not sure, but I try to do my best at every practice. I'll see how they're doing. It's not all about sports too. You want to know how they're doing at home, how they're doing at school. You want to show that you do care about these children, and it makes them feel good about themselves too. Like when I was a kid playing hockey or sports, whatever, I didn't really like hearing parents yelling, because now instead of you worrying about playing the sport, you're worried about what the parents are saying. You're not focused on the game. A lot of the referees, they're young. They're 12, 13 years old. They're learning, they're doing their best. So they're gonna make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And it's a minor hockey league, it's a minor hockey game. Yeah, it's important, but at the end of the day, we're all human, and yelling at them ain't gonna change nothing. And I find the more aggressive you are towards these referees, the more likely they are to call a game against you and favor the other team over you. Parents don't really think about that, I guess, in the moment. They're just, I understand, like, yeah, I get frustrated, but what can you do about it? Just let the players play and just sit back and watch, and that's it.
As coaches, fans, players, and community members, we have the power to change the culture of our sports environment by promoting safety, respect, and accountability.
Brought to you by the Kahnawake Sports and Recreation Unit and KSCS. Ayat Watste, Nikah Nigunurio.